How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Monsters. This is Season 2, Episode 9, and this one's entitled Reaper. It originally aired November 26, 1989. It was directed by Jean Patenaude and stars Barbara Billingsley, George D. Wallace, and Curt Lowens. Also, this is based on a short story by Robert Bloch. Robert Bloch's best known for writing the original novella Psycho, but he's done a lot of other cool things, several short stories, and if you guys are a fan of Darkseid and Monsters, several of his stories have got adapted into those shows. Previously on Monsters, we saw The Legacy, but also Mannequins of Horror, which was one of the series' best episodes. So always cool to see a new Bloch story. But I wasn't just excited for Bloch, I was also excited because of the title. Reaper? The Grim Reaper is a super cool horror character. We all know his iconography, which leads a lot of people to think he's overused, but he really isn't. Actually, how many times have you seen a Grim Reaper movie? It's really not that common, and if you guys have any Grim Reaper movie recommendations, please leave them down below, because like I said, he's a really cool character that doesn't actually get used that often, and I really like him, so I was excited to see an episode with him in it. But in addition to that, also probably because of it being adapted from a Bloch short story, the plot structure in here is really tight and really good. The way the main character thinks he can get through this, there's a bit of hope that he might see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we know we're watching anthology horror, and the way the plot has all these twists and turns in it, and not just twists and turns, good, dark, and ironic twists and turns, this episode has a really good sense of dark humor behind it. We had the last episode, The Demons, and The Demons was just silly people dancing around. I didn't care for it, but show me good dark humor, and that's much more interesting to me. Overall, I really did like this episode. I think it's probably one of the best ones of the season so far, and I can definitely recommend it. But anyway, without further ado, I do want to do a little bit of analysis. We'll jump into the plot, I'll take a look at a few things, I'll break down and analyze them, but I'll be avoiding the end bits, so no major spoilers, but let's go ahead and dive in. We open up with a good example of that dark humor I was talking about. The very first shot of this episode is an old lady with a birthday cake celebrating her 103rd birthday, and they have all the candles on there, but she's so old, she can't blow out a single one. Yep, we're starting right off with this imagery, but we pan over and we see that we're in a hospice, and this poor old man got dumped off at the hospice, and he's upset because he's been waiting a while. A nurse comes up to him and says, "Hey, we got a room for you, but if you're willing to wait just a little longer, a better room will open up." And that's one of those things you don't think about it for a second, then you're like, wait a minute. What do you mean a better room's about to open up? Someone's about to die. And the old man doesn't like that. He's like, I don't want to be in a room someone's died in. And the nurse says, you're in a hospice. Someone's died in pretty much every room here multiple times. So yeah, we're going in dark. And then we cut to presumably that very night, it might be later, but he's in bed and a doctor visits him and says that it's his time. He at first tries to shoo him away, but he'll make it more clear who he is when he says, would you prefer something more traditional? And then he turns into the classic Grim Reaper. I really do like this, the idea that he can take on any form. So you do get the cool actor in a suit, but you also get the classic super cool Grim Reaper. Skeleton face, cloak, big sickle that slashes right at the camera. Super cool. But also once during this episode, he takes out the big sand dial. That's cool. That's going all the way with it. But also a couple times when he's the regular actor, they do flash like a bit of a skull over his face. And bear in mind, this is a Robert Bloch story. I kind of wonder if that's a nod to Psycho. Pretty cool. But anyway, the Grim Reaper says, hey, it's your time, you gotta go now. And he says, can't I make a bargain with you? And the Grim Reaper says, yeah, I gotta make a quota, and if you're willing to help me out, if you give me 3 souls, I'll let you go. And it turns out he doesn't care who they are, as long as he does the killing himself when he's asked to. Basically, he'll pop in randomly and you'll have 30 days to kill someone. That's quite the long stretch of time, but it probably made more sense in the short story version. Short stories can go longer periods of time. But anyway, he's there, and he's eventually asked to kill someone, and he has to figure out who, and that's when he sees this kind of heavy-opinioned newspaper columnist. You know, one of those, now we call them rage bait, but basically going in with strong opinions just to elicit an emotion and response, and the guy goes, wow, this guy's a jerk, maybe I'll kill him. He finds out that he personally responds to every single letter that he's given, so he goes to the closet and gets a jar that's literally labeled poison and puts it on the self-addressed return envelope so that he'll lick it and die. At first I was like, you're in a hospice, you know, wouldn't it be easier to just sneak into someone's room in the middle of the night and pull the plug? But that's not very interesting, and I won't spoil where this goes, but we get the first of many dark and ironic twists here. And yeah, I won't say it, but it really does set up the fact that you gotta be careful when you play games with death. Well, after he's killed someone, he feels emotionally bad, but physically a little better. And he starts to think, wow, I don't feel like I'm dying anymore, and what if I was able to restart my life? What if I was able to get out of here and have something happy and good happen to me for once? You need that hope to build the tension. Of course, he's still got 2 more souls to collect, and it's going to be more of a challenge than he thinks. Again, good ironic twists and turns, and I won't say where this one leads, but the final bit, that final dagger, that is really good. And I love the fact that this one could be very classic in its anthology horror irony, but also be unpredictable and really well thought out. So overall, yeah, one of the better episodes. Really good plot, really good sense of morbidity, and we get to see the good old Grim Reaper. That's always fun. Overall, I really do like this episode, and I can definitely recommend it, and it has been a highlight of the season for me. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Monsters playlist. If you guys want to see me talk about more episodes, you should be able to click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.